Welcome to Clarity and Purpose. Our world is full of people who are overworked and overwhelmed. They lose focus on what matters, struggle to find a vision for the future, and lose time with those they love. We help businesses and their teams clearly understand their purpose and help them communicate more effectively. I'm your host, James Thorne. I'm joined by my co-host, Jake Jordan. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Technically, that was like 11 days ago, but it's the new year for the podcast. And we're excited to be back 2021. Hey, we don't know what's going to happen in our world, but we're excited to be here and to keep bringing you incredible guests every week. But hey, we're kicking off the year. Tell them, I guess tease them a little bit. What are we doing this year?
Well, we're trying to do more giving back, right? We're trying to help this be a little bit better spot in 21 than 2020. And so we're kicking off with a couple episodes actually that are doing the same thing. They're really trying to help people
right.
Get back, get charitable, be philanthropic. And today we've got a guest that starts with an app to do that, which is pretty cool. He talks about you've got an app for everything in your life, but giving, and most people are pretty giving. He just wants to help people, make it easier for people to find something that they can just give a few bucks to or hundreds of dollars to right from their phone, just like you can do everything else in your life.
Yeah, no, and I'm excited to hear about that. And also, there's a little preview in the coming in the middle that will be about our big giveaway that we're doing here at the beginning of 2021. So let's kick off our guests like we do every week.
Our guest today is Jonathan Beck. He's the founder at GiveListApp, one app for all your giving and impact. He is a growth advisor in residence at Mucker Capital in Los Angeles. He's also a growth consultant to 40 plus VC funded technology companies. And at Mucker Capital, he's also receiving all the consulting advice of the own company he works at. So welcome in an awesome guest, Jonathan Beck. Hey, welcome in to the episode today with my friend here, Jonathan Beck. Jonathan, how you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're doing cool stuff. So we always want to get people on the show that are doing really cool stuff. So you are doing several things. So I'm going to let you pick where you want to start. But, at the end of the day, you're trying to help people grow and be more philanthropic, right?
Yeah, I guess both.
Yeah.
So this little background. So I work as a growth advisor at Mucker Capital. It's one of the leading seed stage fund in Los Angeles, and they have an incubator that goes through. I think there's like 300 founders in that portfolio technically right now, and so I help a very small selection of them with their growth initiatives, and then I'm available, quote unquote, for people to reach out and ask me questions, basically. So there's that. And then I'm technically an entrepreneur in residence there as well. So I'm the founder and CEO at GiveListApp.com. So a platform for being charitable, essentially. It's a one app for all your giving.
Awesome. That sounds very, very cool. So tell me, what does being an advisor on growth initiatives mean to the layperson?
Yeah. So basically, at different stages of business, I guess it would mean different things. But for these guys in LA that are actually all over the US, we even got people in Canada and some European companies. So it's really all over the place. At that early stage, it's essentially more so about finding market fit. They have maybe some software, some products, and they're trying to figure out who their customer and how to acquire those at a level that's scalable, at a level that they can raise money on, basically.
Okay.
It's usually mostly when it what it really means is finding channels and paths to accomplish that with them. And a lot of these guys don't know how to, they've never run a lot of the standard channels even, right?
Yeah.
As I'm sure well, that, paid ads search ads or email or something like that. These guys have never touched it before, and just trying to get those up and running well without getting taken advantage of by a big agency or a bad freelancer or something is really difficult. So we help in that sense as well.
Okay. Actually, I just bought this and read this.
Wow.
That's old school.
Old school.
But essentially, that's what you're talking about. Part of it is, right? It's like you're helping them find that fit in the market that goes, who needs me? And is it actually a fit before they get taken advantage of by those freelancers, right?
Yeah. And before they run out of money, and we go through a market mapping where we map your personas, we map who your partner personas are, competitors are, what the different messaging we want to test is, the different channels we could test it in, the different things we can do in those channels, and how some might work, might not, and then try to test and iterate as quickly as possible. Help them. I'm not actually doing any of the work. That's the nice piece. I guess you get to tell them to do it.
That's right.
And then
advising life.
Yeah. And then see what works on the back end. And for the stuff that doesn't work, stop doing it. For the stuff that does, figure out how to optimize on it. So
cool. So it must be an interesting position to be in then, to be a advisor to someone that you are also the receiver of. So how does that work for you?
Yeah, it's interesting. It is a funny dynamic. To be an entrepreneur in residence at that portfolio and have my company probably doing a lot worse than everyone else's companies that I'm giving advice to.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. It's definitely been fun to see some of the portfolio companies want to come on board as users just because they appreciate the relationship that we have. So that's been nice. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting balance. So
yeah, it's that whole the cobbler's kids have no shoes, right?
Right.
I can't, but most marketers are horrible at marketing their own things. They're too busy doing it for other people and things like that.
We love to do work with organizations that are supporting a cause or a people group as a part of their business model. We want you to nominate a company that is doing amazing work for a cause or a people group. Now here's what they will win. We'll be giving away our full clarity of message and sales funnel that is a part of our Quirk growth plan. This is the exact framework we're taking clients through in 90 to 120 days to grow their business. This includes sessions that create a clear marketing message, creation of a lead generator, build a sales email funnel, including 3 months of active campaign, a full year subscription to Business Made Simple University. That's over $10,000 worth of value and prizes. Plus, we're giving away 4 other prizes for the runners up. So go to quirkgrowth.com/giveaway to nominate someone or sign yourself up if this is you. Tell us about the people you help and why you would love to grow more. We are excited to hear about all the organizations that get nominated and the ones we get to help during this giving season.
What caused you to go, I want to go build a SaaS platform? It's not SaaS, but that's the terminology people use.
Yeah. Well, I had, my background was in financial technology. We had kind of 3 quick, really fortunate to have 3 wins back to back to back. It made me look really good. And the last one, or I guess the last 2 were somewhat significant. One was the first robo-advisor before Betterment or Wealthfront or any of those. And then the last one was a payments company that just got ranked as the 9th fastest growing company in the Silicon Valley. It's got a valuation in the 100 millions and they're just crushing it. I think they started crushing it right after I left probably, but I don't remember it feeling like we were crushing it. I remember feeling like we were going to die any minute. But those 2 experiences kind of gave me, I cut my teeth on growth in the Valley at the time when growth hacking wasn't a term yet, and was one of the only guys in the Valley that do quote unquote growth, or knew know, what it meant, but actually had some accolades to back it up, which just happened to be, honest to God, just blessing and luck for me. And so I just kind of fell into growth consulting. But meanwhile, I had this whole idea in my head, this whole time. I've had the idea for GiveList in my head for probably 10 years, maybe more, where, you know, why is there not a marketplace tool for charitable giving? There's a tool, like in every area of my life, I have a tool that completely services my needs. Well, if I want to listen to music, I can find a song super easily. I can make a playlist. I can listen to any song I want at any moment in time. I don't have to buy it. I don't have to have a CD, you know, and, you know, a lot of people might not remember some of that stuff, but I mean, that was ridiculous trying to find music 20 years ago. It was very difficult. Yeah. And like, same with all these other categories. In robo investing, as like one of them, you know, Robinhood makes it super. I don't have to have a broker advisor. Yep. Everything's super easy except for charitable giving, which is actually a significant part of people's lives and a significant percentage of the population. More people give to charity than invest in stocks, for example. Mm-hmm. People don't know that, right? And our nation's largely religious still, believe it or not, and I think 60%. And everyone that's a believer, a Christian in the United States, subscribes to the belief that they should be tithing, mm-hmm. right? And they should be giving charitably and taking care of, you know, quote unquote, widows and orphans and those in prison, and should be doing these things. And there's just no discovery process at all. There's no way to find who's doing a good job, what problems exist out there. How do I help? You know, is my money being used well? Or what's going on? Where am I giving right now? Do I have recurring donations going out right now? And, you know, so it's just kind of all these weird problems that I saw a big opportunity for and wanted to build a product for. So finally kind of got the I guess I got tired enough of growth consulting for other companies and just decided finally I was going to give it a real shot. I think it's a really challenging category. So I was scared of that. I'd much rather just do like a B2B SaaS company because it seems, you know, pretty simple. Simple, not simple, but a lot easier to get to meaningful revenue than like a consumer giving app. That's challenging.
Right. A little more formulaic.
Yeah, exactly. So, so yeah, that's kind of the genesis of it.
So you say you were kind of scared of it. Is that what you mean by that? The B2B side is a little more formulaic, and this is like I'm dealing with people's feelings more directly.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a lot of dead bodies in the giving space, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you take Google launched a product, Google called One Today, right? And it fell flat on its face. Doesn't exist anymore. Okay. And like Google rarely does that, fails and kills a product, right? Sure. And so it's really challenging. And I think for a lot of other industries, I mean, even in consumer mobile, the motivations and the different things that you're playing into as far as a marketing spectrum, is this product interesting or is it not interesting? Do people search for it? Do they not search for it? Those things are kind of relatively obvious, and using those to sort of crack the code on user acquisition and who your user is and where do they go and what do we say. It's relatively straightforward. It's difficult to do well. So, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not calling anything easy.
Sure.
But with charitable giving, it's abnormally challenging. You know, people at the leading tech companies in philanthropy disagree on what the primary motivations for giving are. It's remarkable. So, I think tech people don't understand that faith-driven believer. So I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a different category, right? It's just like any other persona that you're building out for somebody or a company or yourself. A Christian believer is different than a non-Christian believer because people might think the motivation is the same. It's really not.
Right. One's duty-based, and the other one they've proven is like socially guilt-based. That's not my opinion. That's like Global Giving and GoFundMe board members' opinions from studies they've done. right? Spending a lot of money doing those studies. And it's like, yeah, people give because of social guilt. So you need to figure out how to do that on your platform. I'm like, well, I don't think that, 90% of givers that are giving religiously on a basis of income are doing it for social guilt. I'm not sure I subscribe to that. And you look at other studies that, at faith-based payment platforms or donor advised funds or foundations, and it's completely different. It suggests a sense of duty. People want to give in private, in secret.
Really?
So it's not social guilt, certainly, if they're giving in private. So
no, it could still be guilt, though, right? Not just social.
Yeah, exactly. So difficult category.
Yeah. So would you say that that's been your biggest challenge so far, is cracking that nut of how to speak to people around that motivation, or is it something else?
I wouldn't say that's been the biggest challenge. No, I would say that has been a challenge, but not more than in a different category. I think I'm versed well in trying to figure out how to do that. Right. I don't have a problem spinning up a bunch of A/B tests across different ad platforms or in these different organic ways and looking at the analytics and going, okay, that works, that doesn't work.
Sure.
Right. That's been relatively straightforward. And I've had enough time to think about different messaging and positioning and pitches. I think it's been the most challenging for us has been the technology side. It's been really challenging.
How so?
Well, there's not a real database of nonprofits out there other than GuideStars.
Okay.
It's an incredibly expensive database. They essentially charge $1 per API call, which makes it possible to do kind of like a search result type of product. But if you're going to do what we're doing, which is more of a browse experience where things are curated around themes and categories, you have to have access to all of the data, right? And so we had to build our own database by using the IRS data. We had to do all these different scrapes on all the nonprofit websites, on their socials, organizing all the data. And I'm like kind of a data guy, but I mean, that for me was beyond my capability, certainly. So that was challenging.
Yeah. And is there a challenge with upkeep too, as far as having to redo it every year? Or?
Oh my gosh, every quarter at least. I mean, the IRS basically updates every month what organizations are no longer considered tax deductible organizations. And it's a nightmare because an organization can be considered tax exempt, but not tax deductible. And it is truly a bit of a nightmare. They change their names, they get different EINs. It's hectic. Yeah, I'm at 1.9 million of them, right? And then churches, for example, not all of them are 501c3s, right?
Yeah.
Separation of church and state. You can be a church that doesn't pay taxes on its donations because it's a religious institution, and then just be completely off the grid, off the map on any data source, Yeah. So that's been interesting too.
Yeah. So then you're just hitting church lists.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, there's a lot there. That's crazy, man. There's a lot. It's interesting because you're building a platform that's trying to help people be better at something that's already complicated to start, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys have to figure out a way to not only solve the problem, but to then make it easy. So
it's
so
been a challenge.
Yeah, where are you at in that process, do you feel like?
Yeah, I think we're finally in a good spot. I mean, this is sort of what's the challenges on sort of like the front end. Those would be like the challenges that I'm talking with potential investors about, on the behind the scenes, behind, the curtain, there's been challenges on having a really good development team just in general. Right. And that's a big challenge for every single early stage startup, right? That everyone shares that, because getting good developers that are fairly priced, let's call it, that communicate well, and that's a really difficult thing.
And so for people listening that are in that early stage, whatever that might mean to the person, right? I hear this a lot, actually. My brother does work in this area as well. The infrastructure will almost always, if not challenge, but bring down early stage companies. I think you've just described why pretty well, because it's not just enough to just have an idea and there to be a market, right?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
tell me a little bit. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, an idea is nothing. It's nothing. That's maybe 0.5%, and almost 100% of the time, every person's idea ends up pivoting.
Mm.
Almost 100% of the time. And so it's an idea really is nothing.
Yeah, to start.
What's really impressive to me is people's abilities to acquire high-end talent, retain that talent, and basically with delusional optimism, keep everyone believing this narrative that they're going to absolutely crush it, right? Without losing themselves or their motivations personally. It's pretty remarkable to me, right? I mean, you basically have to build what a normal corporation would spend, $1 or $2 million building with a couple $100,000 and still somehow manage to, feed yourself and your family.
Yeah,
right?
that's
And you
living
know
lean.
that well. So yeah. It's I think finding good developers is one of the bigger challenges for software companies. And the way I've done it is find developers that other people are going to for answers. And because developers aren't great at marketing themselves either, right?
Yeah.
Finding a good marketer is no problem because good marketers are marketing themselves. Good developers aren't marketing themselves at all. So you got to go where they are and see and find them shining organically on their own. And so that's what I've done. And it's when I figured out how to do that, is things started going a lot better. So
is that like you say like GitHub or something like that? Go find people that are killing it.
GitHub, GitLab. I really like Code Mentor as well. It's a platform for developers to make money giving other developers advice. Ooh. And so you see, you can find specific guys within your specific tech stack that are just rock stars, right? Awesome. And I like finding guys in Middle America. Personally, I like guys in Texas. I like guys in Ohio. Guys like that are they grew up with a culture that said you work hard and you do a good job. Not, I don't like these, I'm from California, right? And we think that everything should belong to us and that you should pay us $300,000 to be the king of the world.
Yeah.
So
they should grow in trees. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
So I found that Middle America developers, that's been the good spot for me. I
like the sound of that. So if you were talking to one of your people about growth, as we kind of wrap things up here, and you could tell, pretend they're listening right now. What's a piece of advice kind of going into the end of the year right now of these organizations that they're making it, but they're hustling like all the rest of us. What's one piece of advice you'd give for growth going into 2021?
Oh man, specifically for growth. Man. It probably changes company to company, but
sure.
I think there's a couple of things that I see every single company I work with struggling with that would probably help to some degree on growth. I think one's around insights, knowing what's actually happening with the business. I would say the large majority of pre-Series A companies don't have a good grip on their KPIs and their analytics. If you said, who's your customer, where are they coming from, and how do those different channels convert? What's the CAC difference between those? What's the LTV difference? And they're like, what? I don't know what you're talking about at all. And we're talking about, maybe $500 to $1,000 on setting up analytics really well. And, maybe just Google Analytics, or maybe like a Mixpanel or Amplitude or Kissmetrics or Heap Analytics, or some tool that's, $50 to $500 a month that gives you the knowledge you need to basically make good decisions. And I think a lot of people don't don't have the data they need to make really good informed decisions, and they're just moving. It becomes reactive, not proactive. And if you're going to grow, you have to be proactive.
Yeah.
So I think that's one piece for sure. And then I think top of funnel is another one. I think people typically, as business owners, want to end up naturally getting pulled into bottom and middle of the funnel, closing the existing opportunities, chasing existing opportunities. And I think a lot of times the top of funnel gets neglected. And if your metrics are correct, if you're closing 20 to 30% of your leads, if you're generating, decent MQLs, and if there's not a hole in your funnel, is what I'm saying, then you should be investing in the top of the funnel still. And I think a lot of people are scared of doing that right now. And in all reality, certainly some businesses have been destroyed, but I see a decent number of companies in the portfolio as well doing just fine. So a focus on top of funnel as well.
That's good. That's good. So you want to make sure you measure, because, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And then you want to spend time talking to new customers, really, like people who have heard of you. Because you can't manage what you don't measure. Right. Can't manage it. So exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Cool. And then as far as the GiveList side, it's the giving season, man. So how can people come find your app and use it to give?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, give a little shameless plug here.
Plug in there, yeah.
Yeah, let me plug it. So GiveListApp.com, GiveListApp.com, or you can just search GiveList on the App Store. The mobile app is, in my opinion, significantly better experience than the web app. Hopefully that changes in about 3 weeks here when we push the new front end on the web app. But we'll be launching a corporate giving product here in the next couple of weeks as well. So, you can get a corporate impact page, fund your employees' accounts for Christmas gifts, give them $50 to donate wherever they want, and be able to see all the impact stories from that, and kind of a category roll up. What do my employees care about? And what are we doing? That kind of, some kind of cool stuff there.
Yeah.
So there's some exciting things in the pipeline, but for right now, the best experience, probably the mobile app.
Okay. And that's on the Apple Store right now, and then Android to come.
Yeah, Android in a couple weeks here as well. A lot on the docket.
That's right. You're a busy man, Jonathan. Cool.
Well, my developers are busy men.
Yeah, but you manage, right? You got to manage.
Right. No, I am.
Inspect what you expect, right?
I'm drowning. I'm so trying to stay afloat.
Right. Trying to convince yourself otherwise.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, we really appreciate you coming on today and sharing a little bit about the cool stuff that you're doing. And we appreciate you helping people be more generous, because we think that's one of the best things you can do.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I appreciate it. Good to be on.
Yeah, cool. So we roll out a very specific way here. So I don't know if you've picked your dance yet, but
I haven't thought about it.
Great. Let's just on the spot then, because I haven't either. So you ready for this?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's roll.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thanks to Jonathan for showing us a really cool thing coming up in the new year, and sharing kind of some super duper secret sauce, right? He's a growth advisor for one of the biggest, the biggest one in LA, a growth little incubator. So what was super cool is he talks about having, a path and being able to measure that path so that you can make sure things are going in the right direction. Because if you can't measure it, you can't manage it, is the famous saying.
Yes.
So James, how are we helping people measure and get that path going right?
And we came out, so we put together this past year a quick growth plan, which is really the path to take any business through their journey in marketing and then through growth in their business. So we're excited about it because we've come up with a course and we've done some other things to get it out there. But we're launching this year. I know you've heard the ad in the middle. We broke up your little podcast, but the idea is that you can sign up for our giveaway, and we're giving away a majority of that growth plan for free, almost $18,000 worth of stuff. So just go check it out. Go to courtgrowth.com/giveaway and sign up for your chance to win. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about people we'll meet through this too, because we want to be a part of organizations that are making an impact in the world. So we know this will do that. But guys, thank you so much for helping us kick off this year. We're excited about all the different guests we're going to bring on. We've got some exciting fun ones this month and next month. So we believe when a business leader aligns their team with their message, they become unstoppable.